Well, I've been staring at this field for the past 12 days. Things are getting better, and I think eventually sometime before Christmas we should go over 0 Celsius or 32 F. You see now it says -1, which is 30 F. In the morning it was -9. So let me do a quick calculation. So 10 Celsius is 18, is equal to 18 Fahrenheit. So 32 minus 18 is 14, right? So yeah, it was 14 F in the morning. And my truck keeps shutting down, like low battery, you know, like because I'm charging my my laptop, I'm charging my phones, always something is charging. That stupid thing, I probably should disconnect it, that keep tracking ELD. But basically I cannot run my bunk heater all night because it shuts down. And that's some sausage I got from Rob the broker. I'm telling you, this guy has good taste in sausage. Like he brought me like 3 different types, some crazy homemade beef jerky, totally different taste than what you can get, you know, at a gas station. So, you know, soft, you know, tender meat. Pretty cool. But anyway, as you can see, all this is fresh snow. Like when I woke up this morning, my whole windshield was like up to like this much, covered with snow. And why I decided to record this another blockbuster is because of this guy. Actually, for 2 days next to me over here, there was a guy with a typical Alberta setup. He had a 16-wheel Jeep, just, you know, 2 axles, but 16 wheels. So each axle was actually 2 half axles with 4 wheels on each side. And so 16-wheel Jeep, and in the back he had 3 axles. And again, each axle was 2 half axles, and each axle had 8 wheels. So this guy had basically 24 wheels in the back, right? Which is equivalent to 7 of my axles. No, wait, 6. Yeah, I have 3, and each axle only has 4 wheels. But this guy, so basically it's like he's much shorter than me, and so you don't need Ascot's anywhere, and actually I don't need them either, because I'm only 105 feet long or 32 meters long. But that's what a lot of guys here do, you know, they have all these tires on the same axle because of they often have like 3 months long spring restrictions. And so spring restrictions, you can still do heavy loads, but your gross weight is not limited over here. It all depends on how many axles you have, how many wheels. And that's why over here, you know, lots of local guys, they have, you know, tri-drive trucks, they have these multiple wheel 16 wheel Jeeps, 16 wheel trailers, and of course that's super expensive. Even if you look from the point of view of, you know, cost of tires and wheels, right? Like each tire, let's say $400, each wheel is, I don't know, 200, so that's 600, right? So he has at least 4 extra wheels, $2,500 on each axle. But then the design has to be different, right? The design has to support that, like that one axle has you know, so many wheels. I was always wondering, what kind of an axle do you use that can support 5 wheels, right? Because they put a lot of weight in there. And that's when I looked closer at one of the trailers like that, and I saw that it was not a solid axle, it was 2 half axles. But the guy over there, he just pulled in. Let me see if we can magnify. Yeah, it's the not very, it's too bright outside, so the camera doesn't want to, but basically it's a regular truck. I think it's a Peterbilt Just regular. By regular, I mean, of course, he just has 3 axles total. And he has a tandem Jeep, kind of like mine. And the neck on his trailer only has 2 cylinders, whereas mine has 3. And then he has a regular 3-axle lowboy, but he has a tandem booster in the back, so he has what they call 3+2. And something like this would work really great with this previous load. So you need that extra axle in the back when you have like a load where the weight is not distributed properly. And this guy has a bunch of super big, like 12 by 12 timbers on the deck. And now he's coming back from the truck stop, and he's wearing a safety vest and a cowboy hat. And that sound you can see behind me, that's my load board is beeping when a new load is posted. And I talked today to one guy that posted something from here to go to US, and I call him. Okay, hold on one second. Yeah, so what happened why I had to stop recording was I saw a pickup truck sitting over there. I thought somebody was again trying to steal my truck with me inside it, and then that guy started waving, and I saw he was carrying a jug like this, and I remembered a guy reached out, I forgot, I think through Facebook, another fan. Turns out my videos are popular. I had no idea. So he says, are you still in Red Deer? Because, yeah. And he says he's in Red Deer, and he just wanted to, stop by and say hello. I said, yeah, I'm in Red Deer, but I said, I'm sorry, but, I cannot get out of the truck. I won't be able to shake your hand, and no selfies. But if you want to stop by and take a picture of the truck, and we can talk through the window, that's fine. But I said, I'm sorry, I cannot take any chances. And the guy says, you want me to bring you anything? And I said, no, I'm good. I have lots of kielbasa, Polish sausages. I'm doing good. Lots of water. And he says, hey, I saw you were talking about this sanitizer. He says, my neighbor runs a shop where they make these sorry, I was just checking if I have the correct camera, because sometimes I forget, and then my face is too big in the frame because I got 2 cameras on this LG. And he says his neighbor runs a shop or works for a shop where they actually make hand sanitizer. And he says, I can bring you a jug, but he says they only open at 11. So he says, I can be here at noon local time. And that's when I was recording, and I saw him parked over there. And then he just walked over, and we probably chatted for like 30-40 minutes, and he gave me this. And I said, who makes this? It does look a bit different. Like this sanitizer, you see, it's like a gel, right? It's very thick. I like this stuff, but of course you gotta be careful because it dries your skin like crazy because it's all, alcohol. But this stuff he brought me, it's like more liquid, It's like, but it's sanitizer, and it says lots of local breweries, places that make beer. They were switching to this because they have the equipment. So it's very easy for them to make sanitizer, and that's what they've been doing in Canada. So you see it says Troubled Monk. And my understanding is that that's a local beer maker. And I don't think it's that very expensive, because I offered the guy, said, how much I owe you? He said, oh, nothing, don't worry about it. So he left me a whole jug of this. But I'm going to finish this Germs Be Gone from Rob first. I feel like I owe him, the priority. And then we're gonna switch to the beer sanitizer. It looks pretty good, like almost like basically 1 gallon, probably 4 liters, 3.78 liters, So now I got lots of sanitizers, I got lots of rubber masks. I still have some beef jerky. I got some sausage, I got some veggies, so I'm still good for the day. Maybe even tomorrow until lunchtime. But today was mostly about money. I don't know if you guys have this in the States, but in Canada, the government, because we're like more like a socialist country than US, right? So there's more benefits, right? Free healthcare, except you have to pay for the ambulance. That's always surprises me. If you get sick, they will give you a free liver, but you have to pay for the ambulance. Well, I guess the government cannot pay for everything, But that's true. It's true. Medical care is covered. Delivery of your stricken body to the hospital is not covered. The government says, just like Trump said, we're not a courier. We're not a courier for the states, right? So government of Canada says, we're not a courier. When you get sick, you have to find your own delivery service. And especially if you need a helicopter, right? If it's a critical case. So people still have insurance for that. And of course, also in the hospital, they give you like a basic room. So if you want to have like a private room, you can get your own little insurance to, so then they upgrade you, kind of like, economy and first class, right? So like free, you can be in a common room with 20 people or maybe in the hallway, right? If you have this insurance, they upgrade you to the premium suite with a view of Niagara Falls. So really cool. But anyway, so they announced that pretty much everybody can qualify for emergency assistance package, which is about 500 a week Canadian. Like if you feel that your job was impacted, or if you're self-employed and you feel your income is down, like I've been sitting here for 12 days now trying to find a load. And they said that if you were born in January, February, March, you can start applying April 6th. And I checked that website on the night before. I saw how it's done, but the link was not there yet. And then I checked this morning, it says apply now. Done. So that's the difference, I think, between Canada and the States. We have more benefits. And it's not a loan. You don't have to give it back. It's basically, when you feel that your income is down, the government says we can help you out. And then I postponed my trailer payment was postponed. I'm still waiting for the truck payment to be postponed. Like they give you 3 months. And then I remember that, wait a second, I have this overpriced Challenger. How about that one? So I called the bank where my contract was placed through. And they said, how many months you need? 6? I said, well, if we postpone it by 6 months, what's going to happen? She said, well, you won't have any payments for your car for 6 months. The interest stays the same. The payment stays the same. The only thing that changes is that now your contract will end 6 months later. And I said, you know what? I think 6 months is an overkill. Let's do 3. She says, no problem. So it took like 10 minutes on the phone. And when I hang up, I have no more payments for my car until, May, June, July, until August, I think, right? And they said, they were so nice. They said, I made a note here on the computer that somebody will call you 1 week before this 3 months period expires to make sure that you're okay. If you still need, more relief, we can give you 3 more months. I said, okay, that sounds like a very good idea. And then they gave me online credentials for the website of the bank. I went there, and I'm thinking, wait a second, if these guys are so good to me, maybe I should try applying for some credit card or something. And I found they had a card for US. I applied for that one. Not sure if I'll get it or not, but you know, it would be cool because right now it really a kicker, you know, how much extra they add to the exchange rate. Because you know, when you're a Canadian and you go into US, of course, you know, all my money is Canadian. And so when I use my Canadian card in the States, yeah, it works, no problem. But then they slap you with a, not just exchange rate, but of course they slap their own internal fee. And for example, I was checking my Amex card, and when the exchange was 1.4, so basically one US dollar was worth 1.4 dollar 40 cents Canadian. So the Canadian became very weak. So 1.4, the bank was charging me 1.49, you know, so 9 cents on top of 1.4, and that's for everything. So like I always say, you buy a cup of coffee, it's 50% more for me in Canadian dollars. So everything. So if you're a Canadian, it always helps to have, you know, to have US dollars for US, right? Because it's just too much BS. You know, they charge too many fees, and so I've been always looking for a card that I can use directly in the States with no conversion. And so yeah, so that's done. So basically I'm getting some kind of a relief from the payments. And yeah, the guy I was talking to about this excavator going into US, turns out his customer was just looking for a quote. He does not own the machine yet. He's buying it from somebody, I guess local. So I'm thinking it's like a US guy buying a used machine from Canada. But the guy said, he might have it in a couple of days. I said, okay, let me know. So he sent me a carrier packet, and that's basically, you know, big PDF file that each time, that's the only problem when you're independent. So each time you deal with a new broker, you have to fill out the agreement with the broker, and you know, supply all the info, how many trucks you have, you know, what lanes you want to run. So you have to get set up, as they said, you know, with the broker. And then next time you deal with them, they can look you up your MC number or your US DOT number on the system, on the computer, and say, oh yeah, you all set up, we worked with you before, so next time you don't have to do it. But still, it's extra, I don't know, 15, 20, 30 minutes each time you work with a new broker. And that's of course why it's always nice. I'm always glad when I see a broker I already worked with, like I recognize the name, or I can go into my computer and just looked up, you know, because I got 2018, 2019, 2020 by month. I can go into that month, like, okay, I think I did this like in last summer. I can go in there, and all companies are there, and I have all the paperwork. Like I can go back now and pull up even my permits. Most of the time, let's say I moved a load in, I don't know, October 2018 for a company. I go in there, I can see which companies I worked for in October, and I can look up my, you know, my invoice, the bill of lading, proof of delivery. So it's very helpful, you know. Sometimes when I do the same load, I can go back and I can see, for example, how my axles were, you know, how much weight I had on different axles. So always keep records. Records are good. But so yeah, so no load yet. Oh, another gentleman called me yesterday. He has a shop, like a big, you know, kind of like a garage, but it's a shop actually, like one of those huge quick assembly buildings. He says you can go inside with your trailer, and he says it's heated. It's like 3 hours away from here on the way to Saskatchewan. And he says if you're driving empty to Ontario, he says you can stop by here and we can park your truck inside if you need any work done, like oil change, grease. He says we can do it for you. I said how much? He says, oh, we're not gonna charge you. All right. But I don't know if I want to drive 3 hours empty, because you know what happens if I go there and then there's a load from here, right? But yeah, he was saying that could even help me to restack my booster back to 2+2, because I'm telling you, once I find, maybe when it gets warmer, once I change it to 2+2, that's it. I'm not gonna touch it. I just hope that those shims work. And you see, that's what they do at truck stops like this. See, the guy came in and he's tanker, and he parked the tanker, and then probably his wife or girlfriend came over in a Hyundai SUV, and that's it. Now the truck is going to be parked here, and the guy riding in style back home for a few days with his honey. But you see, it's all empty. During the day it's all empty, and there was so much mist in the morning because it was like -8 Celsius, and it's now finally, I think it's like 0 or 32. They were saying that this week it's finally going to climb above 0. And yeah, and here, that's where the guy was parked. I'm going to post his picture here with those crazy 100 wheels on the back. But other than that, not much else to report. So hopefully one of these days we're gonna get a load, and I like these chewable. I try to take like 200 mgs a day, so 4 chewable pills, and then magnesium is chewable. E and then B I also mixed. I have D3 in there. I just mixed them, put them in one bottle. Calcium, potassium, all this good stuff. And that's the beef jerky. Anyway, that's the Monday update, boys and girls. Stay safe. I'll post something else if I book a load. I just hope that maybe I'll get lucky and get something going into US, like a long trip that pays okay. And but eventually, I want to make my way probably towards my home area and pick up those masks and see if maybe they'll send me the new credit card. I don't know. Thanks for watching.